Picture this: an elite private school with its pristine campus, high academic standards, and well-heeled students on track for Ivy League admissions. It's the perfect image of success, right? But behind that polished surface, a growing problem is emerging. What happens when the system designed to set students up for success no longer works for them, or for the future of the institution itself? Private schools have turned to new money and international students as a quick fix, but is this sustainable? Or are these band-aid solutions simply masking deeper, more systemic problems? Let's take a closer look. For decades, private schools thrived on the loyalty of multi-generational families who trusted the system and ensured their children and their children's children would continue to attend. This model created a sense of stability, with families deeply embedded in the culture of elite education. But today, this loyalty is waning. The reasons are clear: declining birth rates and rising costs. Families are having fewer children, and even affluent families are finding it difficult to justify the exorbitant tuition fees. As a result, private schools are turning to new money and international students to fill the void. But is this the right solution? New money families are a growing demographic in private school enrollments. These families, often the recent beneficiaries of booming industries like technology and real estate, view private education as a status symbol. For them, it's a way to secure their place in the elite circles they've recently joined. But the commitment to the system often ends there. These families may pay the high tuition fees, but they're not building generational loyalty. They view private schools as a short-term investment, rather than a long-term tradition, which means their children may not continue the private school legacy with their own families. This reliance on new money is only a temporary fix, and it does nothing to address the underlying issues plaguing the system. In fact, it may be perpetuating the very problems that led to the decline in the first place. In addition to new money families, private schools have increasingly turned to international markets to keep their enrollment numbers up. Families from countries like China, India, and the Middle East often have the financial means to pay the high tuition and see private education as a way to secure a better future for their children. These international students often perform well academically and contribute substantial tuition dollars, but the benefits to the school are more short-lived. After graduation, many of these students return to their home countries, leaving little behind in terms of long-term institutional strength. Additionally, cultural disconnects and different values mean that these international students may not foster the same intergenerational loyalty or align with the traditional mission of the private schools they attend. What private schools are left with, in the long run, is a revolving door of students who contribute to the bottom line but fail to build lasting, sustainable communities. The workforce implications of this band-aid fix are even more concerning. By focusing so heavily on prestige and careerism, private schools are producing graduates who excel in structured environments but struggle when faced with real-world challenges. These students are trained to follow instructions and meet predefined goals, but they lack the adaptability needed in today's fast-changing economy. Employers now value creativity, problem-solving, and emotional intelligence, qualities that are often stifled in the prestige-driven private school model. Private school graduates may be set up for success in traditional career paths, but they often find themselves burned out or unfulfilled. Worse yet, they may miss out on entrepreneurial opportunities or innovative industries that require risk-taking and creative thinking. Relying on new money and international students might keep private schools afloat in the short term, but it's not a sustainable strategy. When these external markets inevitably shift, due to economic downturns, geopolitical tensions, or changing social priorities, private schools will find themselves in the same position again, struggling to maintain enrollment and relevance. Without addressing the core issues, the band-aid fix will eventually fall off, leaving private schools unprepared for the long-term challenges that lie ahead. So, what's the solution? Private schools need to redefine their mission and focus on long-term sustainability. Instead of relying on new money and international students to prop up the system, private schools must invest in the next generation of students by fostering a sense of generational loyalty. They need to encourage family-friendly values and work-life balance, helping graduates see the importance of continuing the tradition with their own children. This approach will help create a stable base for future generations of students. In addition to fostering intergenerational loyalty, private schools should also rethink how they define success. The focus should shift away from rigid career tracks and prestige and towards fostering creativity, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. By embracing diverse career paths, entrepreneurship, the arts, community leadership, schools can help students find fulfilling paths that go beyond the traditional prestige pipeline. In doing so, private schools can better prepare students for a world that increasingly values flexibility and creativity. Private schools must also invest in building resilient communities, where families feel connected not just for one generation, but for many. This means creating an environment where students and parents alike want to return, time and again. By focusing on long-term sustainability and creating a space that fosters personal growth, emotional well-being, and community engagement, private schools can develop a foundation that will stand the test of time. In conclusion, new money and international students may provide a temporary solution to the enrollment crisis facing private schools, but they are not a substitute for a sustainable, long-term strategy. By focusing on building generational loyalty, rethinking success, and fostering resilience, private schools can create a future that is both financially stable and personally fulfilling for their students. The question remains, will private schools embrace the challenge of evolving into institutions that not only prepare students for the next step, but also for the next generation? The future of education depends on their answer. If you're interested in exploring how educational systems can evolve to better serve future generations, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more insights on how education is shaping tomorrow's world.